All right. Welcome to yet another week of the Gen X Guys with JD and Len. This is probably, or maybe not, the last one for the year. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
It's hard. Holidays are coming up. Well, the holidays are here. I mean, Christmas is coming up this week, so
Also, your birthday. Let's not forget it's your birthday too.
that is true. It is my birthday. Correct.
Because that's really what is important to everybody out there is your birthday and not
Sure.
Christmas
Yeah.
Day.
Everybody gets it off. So it's
You always say
an,
that, yeah,
it really is an important day.
we appreciate your
Yeah.
sacrifice to share your birthday with everybody else.
My sacrifice.
Especially that guy, that one guy that we celebrate, or some celebrate.
There we go. Well, and of course, my
What's your
nephew's
Christmas
born
day
that
gonna
day.
look like?
My
What's that?
nephew's born on Christmas as well. So
That's
I share
right.
that with my nephew.
True.
Let's not forget that little kid.
Yeah, forgot. I'm sorry. I did. I apologize, Hugo.
Such a dick.
Anyway, what are you doing on that day? Any big?
So
plans
great
or
question.
party?
Last year we were in Hawaii, so
Oh, right.
this is a bit of a step back as far as where we're going to be. We're not much actually. The day is going to be probably the same as Thanksgiving for us, where the wife and I will probably get up in the morning, walk the dog, come home, maybe open some gifts with each other. That's pretty much it, and then watch some football most likely if there's any good games. Although they're on Netflix, which is fucking weird. And then probably watch some of the basketball games because that's really what Christmas usually is when it comes to sports, was basketball. Football's just tried to overtake that now. And then, of course, last is we'll have dinner. My kids that are actually out here will come by, and we'll have dinner, and that's it. What about you?
Your middle one, your middle one doesn't care enough to come out.
Nah, my namesake. Yeah, doesn't
your
care.
namesake, or-
Yeah, he'll be out. He'll be out after the New Year, but he's not coming for Christmas, which is fine. I guess I've been reminded he was with me last Christmas.
Does he even call you at least?
Yeah,
Do we have
he
to-
calls me.
And
He calls me. I'm not gonna be a dick. My son calls me.
he'll wait. It'll be like 9:30. Shit, I forgot. No,
Like, to be a
he'll-
night? No, definitely not that late.
No, what'll happen is he'll call his mom and then, oh shit, put down on.
Well, he should because she's an iPhone user, so at least FaceTime wise, it's easier that way.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, so what about you? What are the big plans in the old Len house?
Our house is full, so it's going to be. We'll do a little bit of the Christmas Eve thing. Probably more Christmas Eve rather than Christmas Day. With the dinner and that type of thing. And then it's just going to be the standard. I mean, we'll do some of the gifts in the morning, kind of like what you said. But after that, we'll be going over to my sister-in-law's house, just really to hang out for a little bit that day. We're not even going to make anything special for it. We'll probably just bring pizza or something like that. Something basic.
Wow, no lumpia?
No Olympia. No, we're doing that today. That's more than enough. We're going over my brother-in-law's today, and that's the bigger family get-together.
You make 2 batches, freeze one, and then cook it that Christmas morning.
Yeah, the problem is the boys won't want to share with anybody else. It's one thing to share a batch with somebody outside of the house, but sharing 2 batches of Olympia, they won't have it. They'll hide it.
There you go.
They'll take it. They'll store it away somewhere to make sure that it doesn't get cooked.
That's fair.
Olympia is like gold. It's just you don't mess around with it.
Well, in a Filipino household, it definitely is.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because like my wife and mother-in-law, when they do the lumpia, they have like the ones that aren't perfectly wrapped, and they'll put those aside, and those stay here. Those aren't, even if we're going to a family house, we don't bring those with us because presentation. But yeah, the boys
Presentation to their own family, by the way,
I know.
where it shouldn't even matter.
It shouldn't, and it matters to them. They want to make sure.
Okay, that's fine. That I get, but it
matters
shouldn't
to- I-
matter.
It doesn't matter to the family. Trust me. You bring it. It doesn't matter how
Exactly.
it looks. Whatever.
They're not going to make any comments.
It's just a little bit of they want it to be nice, uniform, and everything like that. So I understand.
OCD. Yeah,
That's
no,
it.
that makes sense. Yeah.
So we get the leftovers, but again, we don't care. They don't need to look great.
So do you go walk by and go, that one doesn't quite look right, and make them put it into the leftovers so you have more?
No, I just eat it.
Well, I mean, you can't just eat it till after they've cooked it. I'm talking about when they're pre-making it.
Sure. Oh yeah, no, yeah. They already do that. They already have the one that's in the freezer stored away for later. That's the
I'm
imperfect.
figuring as they wrap them and make them, if they don't like the way they're wrapped, do they wait till they're cooked, is what you're saying? And then they determine if they're worth taking or not?
There's both. There's the ones that, like, for whatever reason, the wrapper was a little bit ripped or it just didn't come out right.
Oh my God. I
Um,
agree.
because
I couldn't eat that. I couldn't eat that.
I,
That's horrible.
yeah, I know. Because
I
her
say that
mom,
to you. I'm not going to say that to your
I
wife
know.
because obviously
No,
I have more respect for your wife than I do for you.
that's a given.
Yeah.
Distracted me. Well, no, it is also her mom likes to use a really thin wrapper, so they have a tendency to split more so than some of the thicker wrappers. Um,
Mm,
so yeah, I think when they're wrapping them as they're doing it, sometimes they won't come out right. But then, of course,
yeah.
there's the batch when they're cooking, they start falling apart in the oil and everything. Those are the ones we just grab and start eating.
Got it.
Usually have 20 before we even get there, which I got to stop.
You're fine. I mean,
Really?
you don't have it. You don't have it like weekly, do you?
No, but at our age, though we don't rebound from having these bad eating days like we used to, or at least I don't. I have a bad eating day, and it can affect me like inflammation and other things for like 2-3 days now.
Jesus.
Really great. Yeah, I'm just going to end it all. If I can't eat a lot, then what's the point of living?
Well, I guess you're not going to any Brazilian steakhouses anymore.
Actually, those have gotten old. They're too.
There's a nice one in Vegas we went to. You should next time you're out here, you should try it.
Yeah, but how much is it? Like the last one that we
It's like
went to.
55 a head.
Okay, the one we went to recently or a few months ago, it was like $75 a person.
Yeah.
Where it was good. I'm like,
But this is on the strip too. It's right across the street from the Wynn. So it's actually, for the cost wise, being on the strip,
pretty decent.
it's
Yeah.
decent cost and it's actually really good. They actually do
See, 50
my favorite.
is good.
Yeah. Well, they
Which one?
do my favorite, which is the pineapple. But they, the grilled pineapple with cinnamon on top.
Mm.
Nice touch.
Those are so good.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. Those
all
are
right. So your Christmas is no different. You're just
Yeah,
gonna hang
okay.
around, the usual stuff.
Yep. Try
Are you gonna watch any sports?
Oh yeah, we'll have it on. I'm not sure. We'll probably switch between basketball and football. I'm not really
Yes.
sure what. Wait, I don't even know what football games are. I know the basketball ones.
They're all on Netflix, by the way.
All on
Wait,
Netflix.
except for one might be on Amazon, if I remember correctly, because it's Thursday night football.
The streaming service thing is what with the games is. I know that there's going to be some growing pains, and that the early days of broadcast were probably the same type of issues, but you still watch some of the streaming ones, and what's crazy is because we have YouTube TV and we have Sunday Ticket, right? So that's how I get to watch the rounds. I love spending $400 a year on watching my team lose, but we won't get into that.
I mean, we can talk about stupidity at the highest level on an episode about people like you who are just too dumb to realize it's not worth the money anymore.
Yeah, we can do that later. Let's not talk about it right now. It's just
blind hope. We'll talk about blind hope.
I mean, well, because
you're lying to yourself. The episode will be called "Lying to Yourself."
Well, see, here's the thing. You always think like superstitious, right? They think that they control the world. Like if you do something that can control an NFL game, it means you're like the master of the universe. But I always think that as soon as I'm going to give up on the Browns, finally, that next year they're going to win a Super Bowl because I control their destiny. That my fandom
Test that out. Test that theory out. Just give up on the Browns.
No. See, I couldn't because if I did, you would never let me live it down. You would say that championship doesn't count because I wasn't a fan or something like that.
Wow, no, I wouldn't have gone there. But now that you put it in my head, I might pull that out later on if that ever actually happens. I'm not worried about that. I'll be dead before the Browns win a Super Bowl, so it's fine.
That's true. But no, like there's still some things like we talk about, like on YouTube. They will go to these breaks for a commercial all the time when there's like a replay type thing happening. Instead of replaying the play for us to see it, they're like, oh, they're doing replay. Let's go to a break. They don't say that, but that's what they end up doing. So you never really get this. How often do we actually see the replay to kind of go, oh yeah, it was a fumble. Oh, you're kind of just guessing at that point or rewinding. So they'll go to these.
I never get a feel. I never have watched anything where I felt like that was the case. You really see that a lot?
Well, it's on. I think it's more on YouTube. I
have YouTube TV, so I bought to your point, the NFL package, so I have it as well.
Okay.
But every game I watch is like literally watching the feed from each location. That's it.
Yeah.
So I get the
There's
same
always
view anybody would get the feed
where it
with.
goes to a commercial. But then there's also those ones where YouTube does the here's a moment of Zen.
Those are awesome, by the way. I love those.
No, they're not.
I
Those are
always hit Zen Me, and I'll just sit there, beautiful waterfalls, birds chirping. It relaxes me.
there's just still some of the things about the streaming that feel like that's lacking, and maybe it's just the frustration with having to deal with always a different service. Like how Amazon does it is different than Netflix does it, is different how YouTube does it. So maybe that's more what it is. Maybe it's the fatigue now of, because for the longest time was you went to 2 stations. That was it. It was either Fox or what, ABC. Or no, NBC and ABC.
It used to be CBS.
It used to be CBS. That was NFC, right?
So CBS used to be NFC, correct? It's now
Right.
AFC. And then before Fox ever came on board, there was NBC. Because ABC always had Monday Night Football.
Monday Night Football, yeah.
So let me ask you this, because you bring up, you're right, there's too many streaming options. And now this year, Netflix is going to stream first 2 games in the morning and the afternoon. And then the evening game goes to Amazon. So not a single one is going to be on ABC or CBS or Fox or whatever.
Right.
But here's the thing. Christmas in the past, obviously back in the 80s, there was no such thing as football on Christmas Day. Unless it happened to fall on a Sunday specifically.
Right.
Then you'd see it. But generally, they wouldn't go out of their way to make the game happen on Christmas Day. Like this year, Christmas is Thursday. Next year, Christmas will be Friday. So, they'll play a game on Friday.
Right.
And they got Saturday. And then the leap year kicks in and then they're screwed. That's going to just skip the Sunday altogether. But they can do Monday night. I take that back. They can do Monday night. But realistically, at least for the last 20 plus years, whenever I always thought about Christmas Day and sports, it was just basketball.
Yeah.
That's it. So I was looking forward to the Lakers.
Yeah. No, because there was no college games. It was just basketball.
Yeah, no, college never runs on Christmas.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were occasionally you get an NFL game, but like Thanksgiving. Yeah. But Thanksgiving was definitely both college and not college, but NFL. Definitely NFL.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I said, Christmas they may put a game on when it lines up correctly, but generally this predates Thursday Night Football, Friday, Saturday. Games literally were all on Sundays only, and then one Monday night, and that was it.
One Monday, and then they expanded to Sunday night.
Yep.
I think Sunday night was the one. I mean, of course, Monday night was forever, but I think Sunday night was the one that expanded. I still think Thursday night is horrible.
Thursday night this year.
Well, no, not good. I just mean the concept of it in general.
I agree.
If you talk about anything about player safety, the idea that players will play on Sunday and then have to turn around a week. I mean, I think it also takes away from us fans because that a team has 2 less days or 2.5 less days to prepare.
Yeah.
Than they would for a Sunday game. And I mean, it's purely, and again, all of it is, and it's a streaming service thing as well, it's a money grab. It's to have another primetime game because they know that game everybody's going to watch. It's not going to be a local market game because if they didn't have it, it would be a local market only game.
Right.
So it allows them to have another nationally televised game and in primetime. But I still think I think for player safety above and beyond anything else, and performance of the game is secondary to that. But yeah, I think how many times have you seen a player injured and it's like, yeah, well, he's not gonna be able to go on Thursday, or they'll have to wait until next week and give him that extra break.
Right.
So it's just, I just never liked it. And then add on to it, some of the worst games you see all year have been on Thursday night.
So so that's generally been true. Specifically last year was horrible.
Right.
This year, totally different. Most of the Thursday night games have all been competitive. They haven't even been crap competitive. I mean, last night was a good example. Well, last night was actually Saturday night. What am I talking about?
It was Saturday,
the Thursday earlier in the week was the Seahawks Rams. That was a good game. And there have been really good games this year on Thursday night, unlike years past, which I agree with you. So
some of the worst ones, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not just that the games have been competitive, but the matchups have made it where you want to watch. Like it's not a 2-10 versus a 1-12, team
Even
playing
though
each
they've had
other.
it.
Yeah, but this year this has been good, so I've actually enjoyed it. The matchups more so, and it's been
There were a few
exciting.
bad games, but yeah, it was definitely better than last year. And I think the year before was the worst one.
It was,
Every game was just horrible.
yep. But I would agree with you. I mean, in general, Thursday night's bad from a player safety standpoint.
Yeah.
Because you're right. Only you play Sunday, and then you only have really 3 days before your next game. And so you miss out recovery time. Anybody who's injured on Sunday more likely is not going to play Thursday.
Right. Yeah.
So you're now dwindling down rosters. Competitiveness tends to drop. Now,
because you don't have you have less time to prepare for them.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it's here. It is what it is. They're going to keep it. They're not going to change it. No.
NFL doesn't really take anything away if it makes them money.
Exactly. The minute they do it, it's done.
They protect their money.
So let's talk about college football. Well, yeah. I wanted to talk about the college football playoffs because it kind of ties in the NFL. But yeah, to your point, let's talk about the NFL games from last night. So to your point, there were 2 games. One I didn't care for, which was Philly, Washington. I don't care. Philly winning basically knocked the Cowboys out.
A lot more competitive than I thought they would be. They played. I mean, of course.
Did you watch the game?
I watched about half of it.
Did you see the 2-point conversion late Philly did that started a fight with Washington?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe you can explain that because I didn't actually watch that. I read about it and I'm like, oh, that would have been interesting to see why, but I can understand.
Oh, I didn't see why. I was trying to watch afterwards, so I know.
Okay.
See what came up to it.
Okay.
But it was a chippy game because, like, it was just I mean, it's this thing where it's going to be Washington and Philadelphia. I mean, it's going to be like that because.
Right.
But I didn't really watch. I watched maybe half the game.
Okay.
But yeah, I didn't really see that part, to be honest. So yeah, that was kind of a waste of a little question. But the other game was good. Actually, it really wasn't that good. Chicago to me is, and actually, I have this question for you because it kind of leads into watching that game with Green Bay last night, where right now you have, Chicago has this good record, and everything, but they don't seem nearly as good as in years past. And we've been talking about that. I think
which team? Which team?
The Bears.
Oh, okay. Well, years past they've sucked.
I mean, just saying, somebody who has their record usually is considered like a top team. And I think yesterday kind of I think we talked about it the week before, but I think yesterday kind of just reinforced that Chicago to me is just not that good of a team.
But they win.
They get those lucky breaks, but the thing is, does that happen? You just don't see that happen in the playoffs. Though when you get to the playoffs,
no, I agree.
They don't come very easily, or they don't come at all. Like that's when teams like that, like they're like, oh, we had this great run, but either a first round knockout or whatever, or they get knocked out of the division round. It's just Chicago did not look good. I think when you look at Green Bay, they were very depleted. Of course, Jordan Love getting hurt. But even though I thought his backup played really well. But again,
I thought the Chicago defense though played well. Like they were before overall, Jordan Love got hurt. They kept stopping him. Like worst case, like they always say, bend don't break. Like they'd give up a field goal, but they wouldn't give up the touchdown, or they'd get a turnover. So it's not like with Jordan. Actually, I thought they looked better without Jordan Love, to be honest with you, because Malik Willis came in, and the problem with a change at quarterback when you're not expecting it is you're not expecting it, so you didn't plan for him. But yeah,
I have a question, because if you look at the Green Bay defense, and everybody will say, "Oh, the defense got gassed." I don't know. I think this year more than any year in the past, or actually, I mean, you've been seeing this trend over the last few years. The old school defense of bend don't break in the last minute drives, you see failing more often than doing well.
Correct.
Like with Green Bay, like look, they held them to no touchdowns and then gave up 2 touchdowns in a span of 2 minutes. And you can see their defense was playing softer. There's a definite change. Like you don't go, they played great all the way up until when they had to stop them, or that whole idea of just don't give up the touchdown. I think when you see the whole idea of don't give up the touchdown, like you're basically giving them the field goal. But this year, I've seen so many times where it just seems like that defense absolutely that old school philosophy just doesn't work anymore. Like if they just played their defense, I think they would have had a much better chance of sealing the win.
Yeah, well, you're right. I mean, I've been saying the same thing this year too because I've seen it too in the games. I'm like, your defense has been playing strong. You're up by 7, less than 2 minutes to go. You know they're going to 2-minute offense, but your response defensively is instead of like getting up on the receivers, bumping them, and continuing your pass rush, like stick with what's working.
Right.
You do exactly that play where you go more prevent, where keep everything in front of you, keep them in the middle of the field. They run the clock. Ideally, they don't get very far. And if you're down by a field goal, that's a horrible way to go. Or if you're up by a field goal, it's a horrible way to play defense. Even if you're up by 7, you're right. Like 9 times out of 10, they're going to drive down to the 10. I mean, I'd love to see what the stats are on those late games, but a lot of games have gone to overtime this year.
Yeah.
Think how many games have gone to overtime. I can't remember this many ever in a single season. Just last night, again, overtime, Bears and Packers. And the funny thing is, the Bears were offensively weren't very good.
Yeah.
Like
you got to give Caleb Williams credit though. He made some good passes under, and I think by the time Green Bay did try to put pressure on him, for some reason, he was like, I think that they doing that, like the Bears get into a groove and kind of let Caleb kind of settle down a little bit. Because that one pass that he did, he was doing this fadeaway, that was just a great pass under pressure. For I think it was the second touchdown. But yeah,
well, his 2 touchdowns were late in the game.
Yeah,
one was the deep pass, and overtime was to Moore for the deep touchdown, which was a nice throw. I'll give him that.
That was a really nice throw.
That really was. But the touchdown before that to tie it, to basically send him to overtime. He would. So here's the thing I've noticed with Caleb.
That's the one. Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
That was the minute pressure comes at him, he fires it off into a spot and hopes someone's there.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's not actually being. That's why he gets called for intentional grounding, is because he'll do that. That touchdown last night, I swear to God, I don't think that was intentional. I mean, I think there was. He threw it to a spot where he was hoping there, but that ball was so high, that guy had to go up, grab it, bring it down. Wide open, by the way.
Well, yeah.
Grab it.
That got beat by DJ Moore. It's the same one that got turned around there.
But it's like, that to me looked like well, to me, it was like a pressure play again. When you pressure Caleb, he's going to make a quick throw, whether it's the right throw or not. He's just going to fire it because he's nervous about getting hit. I don't think he's afraid to get hit. I think he's just doesn't want to give, like he wants to get rid of the ball fast, and he doesn't want to take a sack.
Yeah. I don't think it's a negative just because of what the outcome could be, but I don't think he's.
No. I think he's trying to be smart about it and not take sacks. But yeah, that was a crazy game. I mean, with 3.5 minutes left, they were down 16-6 and came back not only to tie it, but then win it in overtime. I mean, that was just the Packers to me. I always said at the beginning, even when they traded and got Micah, like I thought they were still overrated. People, and we talked about this at the beginning of the season, like it'll change by the end of the season. Here we are, late in the season, and now Packers were like the gods of the NFL. No reason they couldn't go on to win the Super Bowl. They didn't have injuries early on. They kept losing on and off.
They lost to the Browns.
Yeah. I mean, they lost to the Browns. They weren't hurt. They just lost to the Browns.
Yeah.
And then, so they're an inconsistent team, which has always been their MO. Now they're 2 games back, or I guess a game and a half back of the Bears.
Yeah.
And the Bears face the Niners next week in San Francisco. The thing with the Bears is they call them the cardiac team because 6 come from behinds in the 4th. Like, this is a team you got to put away. They just find ways. If you're close enough, they can find a way to get in there.
Where last year was the opposite. They lost all those games.
Yeah, a lot of close games. Yep.
Funny that they flipped it.
Exactly. So, but it was a fun game to watch. I loved that in Seattle. Were great games earlier in the week. The endings were just crazy.
Was a really good game.
Both went to overtime too.
What's funny is that you bring it up is about the whole preseason hype. So obviously this week, especially as a Browns fan, Myles Garrett going for the sack record, right? Do you know that he's number 2 in Pro Bowl rankings right now as a defensive end?
Not surprising.
You can guess who he's behind?
JJ Watt or TJ Watt?
No, Parsons.
Oh, Parsons.
Parsons is the number 1 vote getter because I think, not that he hasn't played well all season. I don't think it has anything to do with that, but I think, like you said, there was a little bit so much hype around him going there that,
Yeah.
or maybe it's just like a screw you to Jerry Jones or whatever the case may be, which probably could be it as well. But yeah,
Eh,
like Parsons is
yeah.
still the number one vote getter for a Pro Bowler as defensive ends, and where Garrett's number 2, which is.
But you're talking about fan vote.
Fan vote, yeah.
Yeah. Because that's
just,
part of it.
You're right. Yeah.
I don't think
Where,
anybody else. Most people recognize that the best one is Garrett.
Garrett, yeah. I mean, he's having his run defense is just as good. He's number 1 for tackles for a loss and things like that. So
yeah,
but we'll see. I want to see him get it today. It would be cool to see. It's like the one bright part for the season for Browns fans. Him and our Schlechter, who is our candidate for Defensive Rookie of the Year, which he's having a great season. So there's some good things on defense if we could just get offense, but we don't talk about the Browns. That's too depressing. But
what's the point? There's nothing of value to talk about with the Browns. It'd be like talking about the Titans. There's no reason.
Talk about Garrett. Garrett is 90% of what you could talk about with the Browns.
If you want to talk about the Browns, let's talk about the fact that your defense has been shit for weeks for something that's supposed to be a good defense. You're giving up a lot of points. Some of the special teams, let me take that back. Some of the special teams, but the defense has been pretty poor too.
It's funny because it's because we don't give up a lot of yards. Like we're like still top in terms of giving up yards. It's just that they're getting those. They're starting at our 35-yard line. It kind of puts them at a little bit of disadvantage.
Right.
But I think injuries are creeping up, and I think with a team like the Browns, when you look at bad teams and you see it with other teams, there becomes a fatigue on the players.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to say, oh, you have to be professional, play your best year, week in and week out, but they're still, they're human.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you see at the end of the year with some of these teams, and you see it across the league. You just see teams falling apart now, or like teams that were good starting to fall apart. Like you kind of see with Tampa Bay is another example. They're a good team, started out great, but a little bit of bumps and they start falling apart as a team. Or then you have the Bears on the opposite end. They're kind of just holding steady. But I think a team like the Browns that are just having a season like we're having again, there's just that fatigue that happens. So I think, some players just start kind of overthinking, over trying, or burning out, and you see it happening. But
yeah, so true. So well, I mean, that was the NFL. Let's talk about the other big thing, because college football kicked off its playoffs.
Yep.
So this is one where and the wife and I were talking about this from a college football standpoint, like where do they need to go with the playoffs? And before we jump into the games and the beatdowns on some teams, the reality is I think college football can only go as large as, like she was talking about, March Madness type event. Like not really. I think the best we can do, from my perspective at least, is that NFL. And it was a good point. Like, can they do the March Madness setup? And that'd be a lot of teams. So I think really they're probably stuck to just best they can do is match what the NFL does with the amount of teams, because the weeks it takes in between is just way long. I mean, the championship game's not till what? Mid-January now?
Yeah. You can't have many more. I don't think you can have more weeks. It's not so much the teams. It's maybe it's like a thing for positioning where maybe some teams don't advance or whatever. But I don't think you can have any more weeks. It's already, especially.
Well, they're going to move it up from 12. We know that. There's no way they're staying at 12 with all the shit that came out. It's going to go to 16. I got to believe it's going to go to 16.
It has to, because I mean, there's a thing where they let James Madison in and Tulane in, because they gave those teams a chance, or those colleges a chance, because everybody's like saying, "Oh, a small school will never have a chance to compete for that."
Which is true. Yeah,
it's true. But then look what happened. Both teams got blown out.
Yeah, Oregon didn't show up the second half, by the way.
Right. They didn't even try. I mean, yeah, they did
not. You can't be up 34-3 at halftime and then come out and get outscored 28-17 in the second half. I mean, that's just poor. That's poor.
Do you really think it's poor, or they just didn't care?
I think it's poor because the coach was pissed at the end of that game. I mean, that's fair. He was pissed because he felt like their level of effort, their play was ridiculous. Like he even said himself, we play the next game like we did the second half of this game. Yeah. Obviously, we're going nowhere. So,
but the point still is that both of those games were blowouts. Even though they played poorly. You can say whether they let off the gas or whether it was the coach that did it or the players that did it. They obviously just were like, "Fuck it, we won." But I mean, that's why you don't let those lower teams make it in. So everybody, and it's the years before it was saying, "Well, this team didn't have a chance. This team didn't have a chance." You don't. And then when they finally give them a chance, now everybody's saying, "Well, that's why the Power 12 teams should only be in there." So yeah,
Let
I
me ask
think
you this.
with college, there's never going to be. Everybody's going to complain every fucking year because they're never going to find the right solution.
Yeah.
This
Well, someone brought up a good point about these top five. Like there's the SEC, Big 10, Big 12, and whatnot, who get automatic bids, ACC as well, generally. But what do they call them? They're not the Power Five, maybe the next five or whatever.
Right.
But basically, the top two ranked out of those groups tend to get in. This is where you're to your point, Tulane and James Madison. But someone mentioned, like, if after these but this is before the blowouts, I go, if they get blown out, then they're going to start to wonder, why are we even bothering with these type of teams, right? To your point. But they're right. What will happen is they'll get sued. They'll sue college football because it's unfair practices at that point by doing that. And so that's why I think they'll go to 16 because they'll keep the teams in. They'll just be, the easy wins. Yeah, they'll just be the easy wins. I mean, realistically, though, here's a question I do have for you because I was just thinking about this recently. It's Tulane and James Madison. Okay, so Tulane's going against Ole Miss. Tulane. If I'm Ole Miss, is the name Tulane going to cause me to be more concerned about losing versus, say, Notre Dame or Texas, right? Names. Skill set, maybe they're all the same skill set, but the name of the college and the expectations of what that college should be makes me play slightly different than, say, I would against a team I know I should beat up. Like Oregon, James Madison. Oregon had no fear about James Madison. But if it was Texas and, say, Notre Dame, one of those two, would they have been more cautious, more fear? Would they have changed, right? Like, would they have been more free? Wouldn't have been free flowing as they are against a team like James Madison, where you go, I can make a mistake and still win. Like, it's more of is it a team expectation of who the opponent is, less about the skill set, more about just the name?
That's a good question. I mean, I think that obviously playing a Notre Dame, especially, or any of the marquee names. I think what you're saying is the marquee names, not just
correct. Does it create more pressure against you than normally it would against other teams? If all talent is the same per se, just for hypothesis.
I would say yeah. I mean, I would say it would have to be a marquee name. I mean, I think just having a good team wouldn't be enough. Like you said, it has to be the name, and I think there are very few names that would actually do that. Like how many teams are there that really? Is there more than 10 teams that have that name that like Michigan, for example, right? Even though they weren't good this year, that that they didn't break top 10, but let's say they came in at 12, or let's say, they were, if it was expanded to 16, because I think that they finished around there, right?
17 or something. So, yeah. They're in the top 20. So they're up there.
Let's just say, sake of argument, Michigan got in and then they play one of the top seats, one of the top 4 seats, right? I think to your point, though, I mean, I think when you go into a game against Michigan or Notre Dame or one of those schools that like in Alabama or whoever, even in Alabama, even though they're not that great of a team, I think that there's probably still a little bit of that name recognition, that there's because it's not you have to also think it's not the players, it's not the coaches. I mean, bad coaches will let off. Right? Bad coaches will have the same mentality as players, but the good coaches are like, no, we're not taking them lightly. We're coming in, we're being serious. It's the players that end up taking it too lightly, right? They're like, oh, we got this. I'm faster. I can beat him, no problem.
Right.
So yeah, I think you're right. I think that there's probably something to be said for when even if you should beat them or they're not the team they used to be, Auburn or whomever or LSU, even though they're not that team from 2020 or 2019. Yeah, I'm sure that there is some of that. There's some of that, like you come into a James Madison and they're like, it's James Madison. But you go against Alabama, you're like, shit, we're playing Alabama. Well, they may not be good this year, but there's always that idea of, oh, they're not good this year, but they're still Alabama.
Right.
Even though it's not the same coach, it's not the same players as 5 years ago. Like everything's different. It's just the name. You're right. I'm sure it plays into the psyche for the players.
I think just the name of the school you're playing matters more. Like people were complaining Vanderbilt didn't get in. Vanderbilt's not going to scare me if I'm Oregon or any others. Like They're not going to be like, oh, it's Vanderbilt. This is a powerful, this is a well-known college football powerhouse, or even for their own company. Like they're not. Like, so
If there was a
Vanderbilt wouldn't have
math
scored.
contest before it, if there's a math
BYU wouldn't have
contest
scared me.
before it, yeah.
Like when you look at the next four in, so to speak, because you had your 12, but the next four in would have been basically Notre Dame,
Yeah.
Texas, Vanderbilt, and probably BYU. Those would be the next four. And like, okay, are any of these really going to scare me? No. I mean, USC used to be a concerning force, but not really.
They haven't been relevant
Since Pete Carroll.
Since Pete Carroll, yeah, I was going to say that Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush. Yeah, no, it was Matt Leinart.
Well, they had one good year run where Sam Darnold's first year they got to the Rose Bowl and won that, and they looked really good. They looked like that was Sarkisian's team,
right?
And then they just fell apart from there. So,
which is weird because I mean, being a private school, and it has money. It's in California we know them as University of Spoiled Children.
Yeah.
That's like, what they're called, like, their bitterness with like UCLA students. We got into school because we had to work, you paid for your way into school.
Yeah.
You just think with all the money that they have and all the history that they have, that NIL would have been a good thing for them. But, even though they did have Caleb, but still, it just still seems like they're just not as relevant as they should be, I guess.
Right.
Given their history.
So, of the four games that played out for the playoffs, which of the games most impressed you?
None of them. I mean, we watched also in the morning for about half of on and off the Hurricane Aggie game.
Oh, that was a horrible game. It really didn't matter. So the issue you brought up about defenses playing prevent, that's a perfect example of that situation.
Perfect, 100%. That was one of the only things I watched, and yeah, they started rushing only 3.
And the QB threw a pick in the end zone that would have tied it, and that's why they lost.
Yeah, and that was because that was a horrible pass. That was
exactly.
It was one of those ones where when you watched it again in slow motion, you're like, you know what, an NFL arm might have made that pass.
Yeah,
NFL arm like a Josh Allen was just rocketing in there, but it was a horrible pass into. There was like 4 people within the vicinity of the ball.
Right.
But yeah, they easily could have lost it. I mean, there could have been 2 touchdowns in the span of like 1 minute because of that great defense that you saw them playing. But and you can say, well, see, it worked. No, it was a bad pass. He should have threw it away.
Yeah,
that was a mistake by the quarterback. It wasn't because it was the right defense. But that game was like one of those games that nobody wanted to win. It was
clearly not
for both of them.
Yeah,
it was horrible.
I would say for me, the best game was the Bama Sooners game, and probably because that was the most competitive in the sense. I mean, sure, Miami, Texas A&M was competitive because nobody wanted to score, but really, it's a boring game. Like nobody wants to watch a college game that's 3-3 in the fourth. That's just not exciting. It's more like if it was like 14-10 or then okay, now it's at least a little bit more to it. But yeah, the Bama Sooner game was more exciting for me to watch of the 4. I mean, Ole Miss destroying Tulane was expected. Oregon beating up on, James Madison was expected.
Right.
But the 2 games that matter, I thought would be competitive were exactly that: the Miami Texas A&M, which was, and the Oklahoma and Bama one. Which the Bama win I thought was impressive because they've been pretty much crap for a few weeks now.
Yeah. They've fallen off.
Yeah, and they were the big debate about whether or not they should even be in the playoffs over Notre Dame, right? Was because they're a 3-loss team that got in. People were irritated by that. But I mean, they beat Oklahoma, who, Oklahoma, I don't know if they should have been in there, but they were.
Right. But no, I don't think anybody really complained about Oklahoma being in there. It was really
no. Nobody claimed about Oklahoma being in there because of their ranking being so high up there.
Yeah.
It's all the complaints were about the bottom feeders, teams that aren't expected to actually win the national title.
Right.
That's why the complaints were almost humorous. It was more about Notre Dame bitching and not getting in. That's all. Everything else nobody cared about. Nobody cared about Texas not getting in. Nobody cared about Vanderbilt not getting in. Right. Actually, nobody really cared if Notre Dame didn't get in, but because of the way the whole ranking system and the college, playoff committee kept ranking them. That's the whole thing between them and Miami. But anyway, that aside, yeah, I thought it was good. What was interesting in that game when I was watching this was the Oklahoma Sooner quarterback, who Mateer or something like that. I can't remember his name.
Right.
He throws sidearm. Like, he doesn't have an actual, he doesn't come over like you would expect. He's more like this. So he never gets the ball up to his head. It's always shoulder height when he's firing. And so there were a lot of times he had open receivers and he's trying to, loft it up in there, make those great plays. The balls are just too high. And then that, I think, hurt him a lot, was that style of play. It wasn't really, or that quarterbacking style. I'm just surprised that someone's still sidearming it like that. Like, I can see Mahomes does it for a quick play to get around a defender's arm.
Right.
But that's not his natural throwing. This was his kid's natural throwing. So,
I mean, that's one thing when you start watching more college football, you start seeing, you kind of get spoiled. Like, if you really only watch pro football, you'll see some of these things in college. You're like, you start seeing the difference between NFL ready players and those that, are just, I don't want to say just college, because being at one of those top 25 schools as a quarterback, just focusing on that is still a major accomplishment. So definitely not saying that, but it's like, that whole thing with, like with basketball, like the difference between an NBA player and a G League player is a huge gap. Yep. But I think that's what you kind of see with, when you see some of these games with lesser teams, or even not even lesser teams, good teams with players that would still never make the NFL. You start seeing that, wow, yeah, okay, there's a major difference between, even when you start seeing like, well, why did they draft him as quarterback? But then you start seeing what else is in the, college ranks. You kind of realize, okay, yeah, there's still a big gap between those 5 quarterbacks that were drafted and the rest.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I didn't notice that, but that's actually interesting. But yeah, you do notice that. Like, you'll see running backs and you'll see receivers, and you think these are gimmies, and then you realize, like, was it the Miami kicker, who missed 4 out of 5 kicks or something like that, or 3 out of 5, which was just.
Well, the Sooners kicker was the best kicker in the college, number 1 kicker in college this year. He missed 2 late.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not what cost them the game. Yes, it doesn't help them, but that by no means cost them the game.
Yeah, but I think kicker is the one that, I think when you look at college, all those kickers have the same almost the same legs as NFL, except for like Aubrey or something like that, who can kick 70. But I mean, I think for the most part, like for the longest time, the Browns, and we had Phil Dawson, and then he went to the 49ers. But he never had a huge leg. Like, he wasn't one that was going to kick anything really over 50. He didn't have that leg. But he made everything below 45. He just was automatic when it came to anything under 45 yards.
Right.
And I think that's like the hardest part about kickers is honestly 99% mental.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you see it, like, what's his name? The Atlanta kicker. He lost it. It's not that his leg broke or anything or some injury. It's just all of a sudden kickers like fall off a cliff. But that goes back to the whole mental thing of players and everything, and about how the game affects them, though.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. But it's interesting because the other thing, when you watch these games and you see how the rules are different, like,
oh yeah,
the overtimes. Like, college is more exciting in a lot of ways. And this is why a lot more people watch college football than normal. I mean, unless you're allegiance to a college team, you tend not to watch. Like NFL, okay, big cities, so forth. But the interesting is just the way they play. Like, 1 foot in, that's all you need, right? Get a catch, 1 foot in.
Yeah. And I forget that. I forget that most of the time when I'm watching college. I always forget that. Like, oh, it wasn't that close. Oh wait, he only needed 1 foot in.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
The pass interference, I remember correctly, isn't an automatic spot where the foul occurred.
Yeah, I don't think so.
They only get 15 yards tops. Like, simple things like that are huge, and I'm like, this is why the NFL should adopt these. A lot of the overtime rules for the NFL still suck. I don't care how good the recent overtime rules games have been, where each team gets a chance to touch the ball, and that's fine. I still don't like it. I'd rather go college football style. Put them both on the 25. Go.
Why? Okay, so like my sons and I had that discussion about the overtime, and then you talk about like, well, is it because there's more plays? Are they worried about the games taking too long? And I just think, how long is a 10-minute if it goes overtime goes all the way through, right? To the very end with the current setup. I
Yep.
mean, it's already like how many plays. So I just wonder, like, it's not so much time or whatever, but I would just wonder how many plays college teams average versus NFL averages in overtime. Because or else I can't see why they wouldn't want to change rules. I mean, I haven't heard anybody who is an NFL fan that wouldn't want the NFL to adopt college rules. I don't think I've heard anybody say no, it wouldn't be a good idea. I think most people say that they'd want to see it, right? Or are at least very least indifferent.
Well, I think part of it's arrogance. The NFL doesn't want to dictate their game based on college football.
True.
Like they want
Okay.
college
That's
football
fair.
to respond to what they're doing.
Yeah.
Ideally, in an ideal state. Do they adopt some of the things for college? Maybe slightly, but not really. Look at college football. They still do kickoffs the traditional way. They don't do it the NFL way for player
Right.
safety. And the
It's
overtime to me for the NFL, you want people to be excited about events, the overtime, and it's the whole point of the NFL, right? It's an exciting game. You want people to be invested.
Yeah.
College football style overtime is much more exciting because it doesn't matter if they get a touchdown. You both start at the 25 on each side, and it's just like, here we go. Good luck. Try and score. You got to match the other team.
Yeah.
And it can
Well,
go to
I was like-
multiples, but then it changes the rules each time.
But see, then the thing is, and I had the discussion with my boys the other day about the strategy is still you want to kick the ball off because you want the ball third. Like there's almost a given that each team's going to score a touchdown, right? And it seems like whoever has the ball third is one who's going to win the game. And it's like, they were going over. Maybe I wasn't grasping it to begin with, but it's one of those things when you kind of have the strategy for NFL overtime, they want the ball second. Because
All right,
it's
well,
like the idea that we're gonna get a touchdown second, we're gonna go for 2 points and win.
Yeah. Hold on.
It's like-
You're by the way, your signal's poor right now, pal. You're sounding digitized, computerized, and that does not carry over well on a podcast. I don't know if you have something running on your PC, like you put the Browns game on suddenly in a separate screen so you can watch that at the same time or something.
Is it really?
Your signal was degrading there for a second. So, but I get your point. It just kind of broke up a little bit. That's why I wanted to bring that up real quick. It's always technical issues. We can't control our providers. They suck. They suck. It is what it is.
You have bad weather, but it's not that bad.
Anyway,
that happened last week, so I'll have to figure that out.
Yeah, I don't know if there's just something sucking on your bandwidth for a short period of time because it doesn't stay forever. But it is, good old ISPs and whatnot. Hey, so I know we talked about we were doing the whole college NFL. Let's real briefly. I had a question for you back to Christmas, since this is our potential final show for the new year.
Right.
What's the wife and I were talking about this. One, I'm curious which favorite Christmas song you would listen to every year, or you care to listen to specifically, if it's okay to hear. And the other is, when was the last time an actual real Christmas song was ever made that you can remember?
You mean aside from Mariah Carey?
Exactly. Aside from Mariah Carey.
No, Mariah Carey is probably the last one I remember.
Yeah. Like they're all now, plenty of groups come out and do the classics and do it their own way.
Yeah, they just copy.
Yeah. I can't remember the last time an actual original Christmas song came out that was popular. I'm sure people have made some originals, but that's at least caught the mainstream.
No, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I can't think of any that has been like a new one. I mean, again, aside from aside from Mariah Carey's, I don't know, especially one that's been big.
Yeah, that's the catch. It has to be
That's the catch.
popular.
I know that there are. Yeah, I mean, in terms of popular now, I
Yeah,
mean, I do know some like there are K-pop ones, but they're not going to be nearly at that type of level. But
no,
yeah,
they're not going to be American-based Christmas songs you're going to hear.
no, or especially like wide mainstream, because Mariah Carey's spans beyond the U.S. borders. Like it's everywhere.
Oh yeah,
It's an affection that happens.
oh yeah. The money
just
she gets from royalties is probably crazy every Christmas.
Crazy.
No
But
doubt.
the Christmas song by Nat King Cole
There you go.
is my favorite. I mean, I don't think it's even close.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's other ones I really like, but in terms of just the most endearing one, it's like It's a Wonderful Life as a Christmas movie. Are there other ones that are really good that I'll enjoy? But in terms of like, I think those two for me. If you want to talk about movies, which is a different discussion, but I think a Christmas song is just iconic. I mean, first of all, his voice and just when you think about traditional holiday and how he kind of goes through it, because that's what he's talking about. He's talking about tradition means him and just going over it, and it's just iconic.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, that's a great one. And actually, the ones I tend to like always are going to be the ones done by old school, meaning long time, or the older school. What's it called, just 40s, 50s, the ones that first made them. I guess is the whole point.
Right.
That to me is a good one. My favorite personally is White Christmas with Bing Crosby. Like that one I always hear.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Now, I mean, again, I like a lot of them. But I say that one always ties me more to Christmas, I guess, from that standpoint.
What did your parents do?
Well, I mean, interestingly enough, every Christmas at my grandmother's, she'd put on Bing Crosby Christmas record or tape or CD as years moved on, obviously over time and the evolution. But my parents didn't necessarily put Christmas music on at the house. If they listen to anything, it'd be all the classics as well, like I'm talking about now, from the 50s and 40s. Bing Crosby, all those guys. But yeah, no, I don't think there was any others that they really listened to. I mean, the Mariah Carey was popular, but other than that, that was, not the best it could be.
What year did the Mariah Carey one come out?
What's that?
What year did the Mariah Carey one come out?
I think like 2000. So I think it was 2000. But
okay. Yeah, I know for us, for me growing up, it was Elvis.
That's true. I can't forget Elvis. That's a good point. Yes. I actually have the Elvis Christmas records from my parents here.
Exactly. It was that one, or then, I think what people forget about Elvis was, he did a lot of Christian songs. So
yes.
There was also like some other ones that were very much religious in nature.
Yeah. So true. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. All right. Well, I think we should end it on that one. Nice, happy Christmas music. Well, by the way,
what's your go-to Christmas? Mike's been It's a Wonderful Life for years. What's your go-to Christmas movie?
I think you asked what's my go-to Christmas movie, and the answer is the same as you. It's a Wonderful Life. Like I'm already planning to watch that Christmas Eve. Like the wife and I already have that set up for us for Christmas Eve. We'll watch Christmas Eve. We usually in the past used to watch when we were wrapping gifts. But this year we'll do that, but that's always my go-to. I like to watch all the other movies like Jingle All the Way, with Arnold Schwarzenegger because that's just fun comedy. Home Alone is always nice. Just brings you back to Elf. But Elf is on TV almost every point in the year now, so it's I don't really watch it anymore. Not because I don't like it, just because it's so oversaturated. Like I'll see it on all the time and just not as eager to watch it. But I do love that movie. It's a good movie, but I'm just not really one I watch in Christmas time.
He's an angry elf.
Yeah, exactly. He must be a South Pole elf. So yeah, we'll do that. But other than that, Christmas Day, My kids and I years ago decided that we'd watch West Side Story on Christmas, and we've decided to make that a Christmas movie every Christmas. That West Side Story is the movie you have to watch on Christmas, clearly. So
Right.
it's a running joke of ours, but we'll put that on too.
There you go. Very cool.
Nice. By the way, anybody who's listening, if you do know of songs that came out post Mariah Carey that are popular, let us know. Send us
let us know.
comments and whatnot. I'd be curious. I can't figure out any.
I can't think of anything either aside from Mariah Carey.
Exactly.
It
So-
maybe it just overshadows anything else. It's like it just
Oh, yeah.
the Christmas song
100%.
won't let it be popular.
It's a big joke, too. They're about to thaw out Mariah Carey for Christmas when the
Yeah,
holidays get close. So,
All
all right. Well, hey, happy holidays, everybody. If we're not back, we'll be back in the new year. Thanks again for listening. Subscribe. As always, follow us. And yeah, we'll be back. Everybody enjoy your holidays and take care.
Sure. See ya.